It seems like we are live. Hello, everybody. I apologize for the delay. I We had like some constructions going on in my house, so I couldn't connect before. It's been a few days since I last touched the model. I wanted a little bit talk about it because sometimes it is actually can be a very helpful thing because it forces you to see your model with fresh eyes and you spot on problems with your modeling really fast. The other thing that I wanted to say is I feel like I'm wasting too much time thinking over little details like the hair of the model for now. It would be more interesting if I push it forward and get more defined on the looks that I want to have for the full miniature and not just each individual character. So as I said before, like the first thing you should think about is the try to set some goals. My vacations is done, so now I have to go back to my full-time job. So I can only work until 9:50. So it gives me right now it's like 8 in the morning. So it gives me more or less like 1.5 hours. So I will try to keep it like this every day and add like 1 hour, 1.5 hour to the model. I will try to stream. Actually, I sometimes work earlier than that, but for this model, since I'm recording the process, I will avoid touching the model if I'm not recording. And when I work too early, I cannot record, otherwise I would wake up the kids and my wife, and that's not something very nice to do. So I will try just to work around these hours. It is a little bit challenging because this is a fiber gig and it has a deadline associated with it. So you have always to consider like when you spending too much time on something and you have to move forward, right? So as a speaking of goals, my goal for today will be I would like to define the second kid, the middle one. I think he would balance the have like all three of them, at least the face. That's where I'm more concerned right now because uh, if you have like a good face, it's easier to match the style afterwards. I think the face is usually the place where I think I mentioned before is the place where you're gonna pay more attention anyway. So if you have like a more solid face, I think it helps to define how is the level of detail you want to go for the whole model. So we're gonna start on the kid number 3. Oh, funny. I thought I parented everything. No, it seems like not. Um, Before I do that, let me parent the. I think I parent only on the. No, I didn't parent any of them. Okay. Why I like to parent because it allows me to move everything at once. So I will just do like a fast parenting of the bone structures here, so it's easier for me to match a pose. So the way I do this, as I mentioned before, you select first the child and then the object you want to be the parent, and you just make Ctrl P and you keep the transform. So it will keep the object where it is right now, but allows you to when you rotate like the child, the thing moves with it, right? So I also want to put like the pivot of the head already like more or less in the center of in this point over here, more or less where you were supposed to rotate when you have where the neck is, because it will help me later on when I'm actually posing the model. So the best way that I find to do this, like you select a portion that you want to be, and you center your pivot to the selector, and it will put more or less already in the center of this selection, and that I can use as my origin. So I'll set the origin to the 3D cursor. So now if I would rotate the head, it would rotate from that point over there, which I believe it's a better than in the middle of the head how it was before. I will parent the ears to the head. To the head. And it's pretty much the same process. You select what you want to parent, and then you parent to it, to the parent. You select the child and then the parent, and then you object to transform. The way I like to parent, it's pretty much the same way I do my rigs. Everything goes from the pivot point, the pelvis. The pelvis is like the center of your character. You see, like, this is something really funny that's going on over there. If I move the character, the ear goes like far away. That's the reason. It's because the ear is actually using a mirror modifier and is using the empty at as its mirror center, and the empty is not moving, and that's why, like, the further it gets to the center, the more separated it gets. This is actually easy to solve. The one way you can do that is actually I have to select the empty. Come on, yeah. But actually I'm gonna duplicate this empty because I also gonna need it for the other two kids. So I selected the empty. Come on, yeah. And then I'm gonna just parent it to the head. So now if I rotate the head, the ear goes together. As you see, the eyes are not going. It's because the eyes still not parent to the eye is the same thing as the ear. It's parent to the it's mirrored to the empty. So now if it's a mirror to the object, I can simply move the head and everything should follow nicely. And the good thing about that is because I can later tweak the if I want to tweak the distance between the ears and stuff. I just have like to select one eye and move it, and it still behaves the same way I had before. So this is already parenting. So now the only thing missing to parent is the legs to the pelvis. And this is one how it's it is a mistake. I should have parented all this hierarchy before I duplicate the other kids, because now I'm gonna just have to repeat the process, and you should avoid doing as more the repetitive tasks, right? If you could like done this before duplicating the model, you would save some 5 minutes or so. But since I haven't done that, I have to do it again. Let me put visible the kid number 1 and kid number 2. So now this is the empty that I want to use for the kid number 2. I want to move it to its collection, and I want to keep it exactly the same. My mistake. Sorry, I actually didn't have to copy because it had already the. When I duplicated, it came already with its own pivot point, its own empty. So as you can see, like the empty of the kid number 2 is this one over here, then kid number 1 is the one below. So actually now I can just like hide the kid number 1. And also kid number 3 is there, perfect. So I can pretty much like just hide the kid number 1 and kid number 3, and I'm gonna parent the kid number 2. It's pretty much the same process that I did before. Select the empty, parent to the head, eyes to the head, hair to the head. So now if I would rotate the head, everything should go together. As you can see, the ears is not. Ear is not using the proper empty. We can see where it's using empty 001, and this is called it is actually my mistake. It's just that I forgot to parent it to the head, so I'll rotate it back and parent the ear to the head. So now if I would rotate the head, everything works how it's supposed to be. Again, center the pivot around some point around the neck. This doesn't have to be super precise. It's just to be more or less in the position when I position where more or less where I wanted it to bend when I position the head. Oh, I don't know what's going on with me. It's too early in the morning, so I'm making so many mistakes when I'm speaking. I apologize for that. I was actually researching about music to have music on background. I read that I could actually use some copyright free music, and then this video wouldn't be a problem to be on YouTube. But since I don't have, since I'm not talking to anyone, it's hard for me to get a feedback, and I don't know if people would like. And I saw so many videos on on YouTube that I really can't stand the music that the person chose. So I will just bite the bullet and not have music on while I'm working, which is not the real way I actually work every day when I'm doing my job. I like to have some background sound, and even I sometimes sing along. But for this, I let you guys choose whatever music you want to have on the background, and just listen to me if you still have your music on. So now this its parent kid number 2 is almost completely parented. You just missed the head, as you saw. So now I can just select the pelvis, and I can move the whole kid number 2. So he's done, and I just need to make the kid number 3. Again, same process. Select the empty parent to the head, parent to the eyes to the head, the ears to the head, the hair to the head as well. So now whole head work as a whole. Put the pivot point somewhere around here. Yeah, it's a very repetitive process. My bad. Shouldn't have done like that. Should have as I mentioned, made the one full character properly before duplicating it. But yeah, living and learning. That's the best way to learn, is by making mistakes. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, right? It's the best way. I listened to this. I think it's called. Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. I forgot his name. Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins once told on one of his videos that imagine if you would I forgot exactly the phrase, but how many times would you say to your kid, yeah, if you try to walk twice and you didn't work, so don't try again, right? You wouldn't do that. You would incentivize your kid to crawl and fall down until eventually he managed to walk. So everything, keep that in mind when you're working, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's the best way to learn and to progress as an artist in general. Okay, so having said that, I think now I'm actually can position all the characters. So I will now do kid number 2, because it's the one that is very far from being done. I only started. So for now I will just put them side by side, so it's easier for us to compare the size difference between each. So I'll move kid number 2 here and kid number 3 here. The size, if you compare on the concept art on the screen, it is okay. This size difference is fine. Again, the cool thing, the thing that I really like on the concept is kid number 2 is the more strong one. Not so much on this illustration for the characters, but I will try to keep more like this, because I really like the difference in body proportions that they have. So okay, again, what it makes when I look at my kids, one thing that makes them less childlike is the distance between the tip of the nose to the brow, to this bone here. Actually, yeah, I will turn on the new annotation so we can actually, I can draw what I'm doing. So this from this, like this triangle that we have here, right, and then you would go like to the other side over there. So this angle here, it gets like a little bit wider, like as you grow older. So it means like your nose, it's actually getting bigger. It's like I have a baby right now, she's a little over a year, and it's really funny. Like the tip of her nose is almost the same, aligned with the bottom of her eye, which is very cute, and it gives like this very rounded face. And as my daughter, which is already like 7 years old, you can actually see much more of a proper nose, like the not a proper nose, but a grown-up's nose. So I will push like this to be a little bit more down. I don't want to go as much as the kid number 3, because I remember he's just in between the ages. He's not as old, but he's not as young, so it's pretty much like in mid ground. But I also want to remind that I mean, they have to be a little bit similar, look alike, because they are from the same family. They are brothers after all. But still, you can have like some difference on the face, right? So they are not exactly the same. And also, I will try to make it not so pointy like before the chin, and make it a little bit more less rounded. I have an alarm for when I actually have to stop, so I can prepare to go to work. So I will let you guys know when it's done, and so now enjoy the modeling. Also I think the face is too squared. I'm gonna pull it a little bit down. I will look at some kids reference that I have on my screen. So I will remove the screen from the OBS because I don't have the rights for the image. I apologize for that. So just I will not go in much detail in specific what I'm looking for. I recommend you to search some kids on the internet. That sounds so bad, but I hope you understand what I mean. So I just don't want to show the photo of real people because I don't have the rights for the image. I will just make mental remarks. I can't really show the image, but one thing is like, imagine like, if your center of the eye would be here. Usually the corner of your mouth, it's aligned with your center of your eye, so the mouth can be a little bit bigger. That's the good thing about CG, right? I mean, you can work with symmetry. This is the thing when you work with clay, you have to do by hand, which is also a very good exercise actually. It is recommendable to do. One thing that I want to show that is like I just realized. You see the center of my model is off center. It's because I changed the pivot. That has an effect on the model. I should have thought about it before I've done. So you see the center line right here doesn't align with where the center of the nose is, which is around here. So that what gonna make me do is like I will have to make it proper, the center, the origin of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select an exactly vertex. So I would just select like let me find one that is good for that. I would say these ones, and then I'm gonna put the cursor exactly in the air. So now it should be exactly in the middle because it was mirror before, right? So now I can set my origin to that point. My sculpting now is, my symmetry is much better where it's supposed to be. just clean up the mouth a little bit, and redo the mouth. I actually think it's better anyway to redo, because I actually want for this to be a little bit different than the other two. Again, he's the more chubby one. I sorry, this offensive word. English is not my main language, but it's the best way I can describe it. He's has the more rounded features. So for that, I will use a lot the inflate brush. The inflate is like if you were blowing from inside your geometry. So now we're gonna make the cut where his mouth it's gonna be. As I mentioned, like if you look it from the front, and then you draw a line to the center of his eye down, right? So it will be more or less in here. So this will be like the corner of the mouth. So I will pull like the outside a little bit and the inside, and then I'm just gonna draw a lip. This looks okay. It works. I want to have this one to have a little bit more. Yeah, I'm looking at the concept, and he has a little bit of a more pointy and more bigger nose, more. Rounded nose, so make it his nose a little bit bigger, more cartoony. And I need I want to make his neck much wider. Actually, now I can go back to showing my concept art because I'm not looking at the photos anymore. Here, as you can see on the concept, he barely has no neck whatsoever. It's like the other two. Actually, you can see the connection of where his neck is, and you still have a little bit of head. And this one you almost don't have. I am going a little bit more realistic than the concept over there, but still, what I read from there is like he has a very thick neck compared to the other two, and that is something that I want to portray. And for that, I will also give him some fat underneath the neck. Yeah, it's not problematic if like that I still don't have a perfect symmetry, but that is okay because I mean nothing in life is actually it is bad if you keep it like 100% symmetrical. I was going to break the symmetry eventually anyway, so even if it's a little bit off already, it's actually then can be helpful. It was a honest mistake. I should have thought about it before I done the symmetry. But yeah, again, as I mentioned before, like don't be afraid of making mistakes and go with it. I mean, it can actually help you to works with in the restrictions that it gives you. I don't want to make him completely big boned, as they sometimes say. I mean, he's still a kid, right? You still want to have like the cuteness of a kid. Yeah. Yeah, like this for me would be a good example of the look I'm going for, the Rockwell kid. This is more what I was actually trying to achieve. And okay, look, he has a very bigger chin in the forward, and the neck falls more graceful. I'll try to imitate that. I'm not too worried about that, how the neck actually is in here, because the cloth is gonna be on top, and that's will be covered when I model it. So now I'm gonna grab my sharp thing just to help break the planes, so you actually really see where what is the chin, or where is the fat pads are. It really helps to define the features if you just draw it a tiny little bit like this, and you let it helps your eye to distinguish like where they are. Looks a very happy kid. We'll make this eye also a little bit smaller. The bigger the eye is, the more childlike he looks, and he should be a little bit older than the kid number one. Not as old as the other one, but and I want to remove this little dot on the chin, because I think this is it's something very characteristic, and I want to have just one of the kid with that, because at least I will differentiate the look of the other one. So you don't see it doesn't, it's so obvious that I just use one kid as a base and just from there on made the other two, right? So this is the kind of thing that is so unique that you want to make unique, exactly, like you don't want to have like all three have the same feature. But again, this is all choice, right? That's the cool thing about being an artist. You were the one taking the decisions. It might be a good decision or it might be a bad decision, and then later you're gonna show to your client and get his feedback, and then you work on top of that. This is not my own creation, so it is a product that I'm doing for someone, and that is like ask for feedback. It's important. So you have to do what you think is gonna look good, and then you ask us like, do you like it, or should I change? What do you want it to, how do you see it? Because it is his character. It's my client's character. It's not my character. I just can do my interpretation of it, and if it's wrong, I will rework. That's the mentality that I like to see on people. Uh, I mean, when I work in the team with other artists, and this is the, I think this is the professional mentality that you have to have. Don't marry to your concept. Don't marry to your artwork. Your artwork is always subject to improve and to change, and to the decision of the client. I mean, I have a boss, and he's my client. That's how I think, and I try to do my best, but I'm always open to iterate over. And I have an art director, and he gives me the very good feedback, and I apply his feedback. And with this, I always try to think also like why it was like my choice wasn't good enough. Where can I? So the next time I try not to make as I try to be as close to be approved from the goal. I think this is a good way to think when you are professional, and it also makes for a very good learning opportunities. Everywhere is a new learning opportunity. And in life, it's learning is growth, right? So try always to learn something new every day. It doesn't have to be super complex, right? It just like a different point of view of what you thought you knew, and how you could apply what is actually there, right? All right. I think now it's good enough. He might actually be a little bit too old right now for my taste. So make him a little bit more roundish. The cheek especially, I will pull that up a little bit more with the inflate. I really want like this very fluffy cheek. Okay. I will differentiate his ear, because his ear could be a little bit different from his other brothers. I'm actually gonna make him with a very tiny ear. I think it's gonna be funny if he has like a more rounded face and a smaller ear. It's gonna make even his head look a little bit bigger than actually is, right? Because it's all about in life, in art, it's all about comparison. You only know if something is tall if you have something small nearby, right? You have to give like those reference points so your brain can compare. So if you have like a small ear, his head's gonna appear bigger than actually is. And on the concept art, you can actually see his hair is more like a Bart Simpson style of hair, much shorter. It is still a little bit undulated, so I just go from this here and modify it to be much shorter, and he has like a pretty much like connected to the head, the hair, and that actually is gonna be fun. You see, I'm getting like these super pointy geometries. This is very hard to sculpt on, but I'm not afraid right now, because when I remesh it, this should almost disappear, you see? So I can just like scrape that off after. I just want like to have clay so I can work on. Okay, I will hide the other kids now because I think their size are okay. The comparison 1, 2, 3, and I can fix that later anyway. But now I'm just gonna hide the other two so I can concentrate on kid number 2. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna draw more or less a guideline for me again. I think it has too much back of the cranium mass. Usually the ear should be more or less like in the half point should be the ear. So if it was a skull, it would be more or less like this. Cranial mask. So this is definitely too much. I want to have like my hair more around here, and then from here there's like some pointy hair like that. The problem is like my head sculpt, it is very big on the geometry of the head itself, so I will have to fix on that and then go back to the hair model. There is like a new version of the Sculpt tools that they are working, that you can actually change from one model to the other, and that I can't wait to have that, because it's gonna speed up a lot the process. Yeah, my whole cranial mass is too big on the head, so I'll just hide a little bit like this. So I mean, it's hidden by the hair anyway, so I just don't want it to be distracting when I'm sculpting the hair. So now I can go back to the hair model. Yeah, the annotation tool, I think it's an amazing thing. I work so much better when I draw on it helps me like I think I think better when I draw. It helps me think like I'm repeating myself all the time. Yeah, but it helps me like see where the model could go. Alright, you see on the concept, he has a very short side, the side of his head. It's pretty much like a jump to his head. It's almost like an army hairstyle. It reminds me a lot like this 50s hairstyles, like McFly. Are you there, McFly? So I will draw, because with my draw brush, the draw sharp brush, just gonna make like the division where the actually hair grows. So it grows from here. This is like a hair, where the hair is gonna go, and here is the more just almost shaved style of hair, almost like a texture only. I still want to have a little bit of differential, very big volume like this. So when you print, actually, you can see yeah, the plane difference. Otherwise, it's you probably would lose on the print when it goes out. I mean, you can leave this for the painters to actually just paint on the model. You could have just a tiny little bit of a noise there to simulate the hair, but I find that it's better if you accentuate the small details like this. So I mean, the guys can still uh, yeah, clean your model around, right? Grab like the sandpaper and sand it off the and make it more flat. But I think it's better if you define a little bit better what is the volume you want to have. Like just think of like a shape, right? This is a new a shape. It's not the head. It's separated from the head. At least this is like the things I like to see on the miniatures. I mean, I think you have to be a little bit bold sometimes. You cannot just sometimes you have not to be afraid of making a mark. Again, it's not final, right? I'm still gonna get the feedback from the client, and if the client say, "Oh, I don't like that," I will change. But I will try to push my aesthetics and the things that I like uh, to the maximum, at least on the first version. He has this Dennis. In Portuguese it would be Dennis Pimentinha. I don't know in English, but that's yeah. They made a movie out of this like 6 years old boy that's always tormenting his neighbor. He had like a hair like this sideburn hair, just tiny little. Apologize, I have to check something on my phone. It just vibrated. Yeah, just Google sending me advertisements. Nothing important. Go back to work. Google, don't distract me. Sorry. Alright. Remesh. Now I will just like lower a little bit my density, so I have more geometry to play around, and actually gonna start with the clay tube, just to draw the mechanic, the piece of hair. Yeah, in Spanish will be mechones. Those mechones, the pillow. Yeah, piece of hair. I wanted like to break them apart, so you read like this is 1, 2, 3, and not just like a continuous piece. So I will be changing like from one brush to the other to differentiate like the piece. And the way I do is like I invert a lot the directionality of the brush, sometimes pulling up, sometimes pushing in, up and down. Yeah, And I hope you guys don't feel like this is so repetitive. I feel like I'm probably said this already before, but this is pretty much how it is, right? I mean, you're repeating yourself, you're doing the same moves, but it's like a dance, right? It's like a bunch of repetitive movements in different orchestration that makes it so appealing and unique. So here I would just make strokes like this, just to say like okay, and noisy, because it's very short here. It's just so it doesn't read like too. I could just use a texture brush, but for that it's just faster to just make like some. Cause I just want noise. I don't want this part to be flat because it's just very short here. So I would just read this as a noisy thing. Yeah, I'm running out of things to say. I think sometimes silence is gold. So I'll keep some silent now. If I find something interesting, I will mention. I might be spending too much time already here. I actually should move on, but yeah, I will try at least to have his face a little bit more to the same level of the other two, and then I will position them all in the composition the way I want it to be. And that I think that will be it for today because it's almost 9 and yeah, time is running really fast. It's yeah, time flies, man, when you're doing something that you enjoy. That's the good thing about being an artist. I mean, you don't make much money, but you make something that you love, probably, most likely, and you have fun. And that's not much better in life, I would say. It's like choices, right? I mean, probably could have done more money if I would gone for a different career decision. But don't get me wrong. I mean, you can make money as an artist, right? That's this actually may be important to mention, especially because if there is kids looking at this and you might want to show your mom and say, look mama, this guy is saying that you can actually make money, and it's true. I mean, you can make a living out of being an artist. I make a living. I There is actually more than one route. You can actually be a freelance artist and just work for yourself, find yourself clients. This is I have lots of good friends who actually make even more money than I can, because they set up their own price, and the more in demand they are, the that's more or less what Fiverr actually allows me to do. I can set up my own price, and the more successful I become, the more visible I will be, and more clients will search me, and more money I can make. Or you can go the route that I actually do, as I have kids and a wife, and we just bought a house. So I got like I have a full time job for a game company, and yeah, it pays my bills, help put food in the house, and pays for school and all these things. I mean, it's not the same if I was a doctor, for sure. At least in Brazil, doctors make a lot of money. But it's my calling, right? It's the thing that I really enjoy doing. I can be reading about art all the time and looking at pictures and trying to say like, why this picture click on me? What can I take from this picture for my next model? And yeah, this is a very good feeling to be able to do this professionally. I think it's a very satisfying thing. I mean, but always remember, right? You have to be good, and not more than just as in your skills. You also have to be a cool person to work with, because it's usually this is a team. I mean, like not in this case right here, because well, it is if you count that my client is my other part of my team, and he's the one gonna give me feedback, and you have to be nice to talk with your client. It's get good feedback, and even like ask other artists opinion on your work and get their feedback. So be a friendly guy. I think it's super important. Don't underestimate that. Okay, I think like I'm making a very common mistake. This is very repetitive. You see, like I have pretty much like tuck tuck tuck. It's like a staircase. They are evenly distributed, so I want to break this a little bit, so it's not so much like that. And I think that's gonna be is one of the principles of designs, right? You don't want to have like super repetitive pattern, because our eyes are trained to recognize patterns, and you recognize patterns super fast, and um, and that's why you instinctively make these patterns, because you're so ingrained in your brain that you don't even notice that you do. So when you do realize that you're making like these patterns, break them. This is the it's part of the game. There's always like mistakes trying to crumble in your piece, so you always to have like to check and on your back of your head, like, okay, this, oh, I have seen this before. Well, how did I fix it? Oh yeah, this is that mistake that I saw on the book from Loomis that he mentioned this. I'm gonna keep that. And as I mentioned already, like some books like Loomis and stuff. Yeah, as an artist, it's not just the time that you actually do the artwork, but you should read and research other famous artists that you like, because don't be afraid that you think that you'll be copying his work. It's not. Eventually, every always gonna come out from something from you. Even if you don't think about it, it will come. For example, like in this piece, there is a lot of my kids. I can see, I can feel on the piece that it has some stuff that it's me on it. So even if I would like I am using like Linedecker reference and other artists as a reference. Eventually, it has something from you, unique from you. Always gonna have it. It has your hand, right? We're not machines. We're not the AI thing, just mixing features from different people. So the even like your taste is already part of you. Why you like one piece of artwork and not the other. So this is already influencing your style. So there is no way that you can have something that doesn't have you. So be happy. Yeah. The more artwork you do, the more of you is exposed outside. And actually, I think I'm saying more for me than for you guys. Alright, keep adding some noise here, because I added to one side of the head, but I didn't add to the other. And I also wanted to make like some cuts in the directionality that I wanted your eye to follow. So it's like, I imagine like it's this again like the 50s hairstyle, this John Travolta Saturday Night Fever, where he will grab a comb and just pull to one side. So I wanted to very easy to read like the how his hair is flowing, right? It's not just like goms of hair, but you have to say like, okay, he comes from this point here across his head. Right, let me take the annotation off so I can better see the model. One thing on the concept that his head is very square. Put the notation back. His hair is more like this. So I will try to make like the hair like smaller on the top, just to help read on that shape. And I will try to increase a little bit more the jaw, like to say like following like this boxy. Okay, I think it's good enough. Let's position the characters. This is like the cool part of the miniature process. It's actually now we're gonna actually see how the miniature is gonna look like. So again, as he mentioned to me, this is the pose that he really likes. So I will keep this one like as the ref at the base. So first off, I will just make a cylinder in the floor so I know where the base is. It's just so I have like a reference, like okay, this is the ground. So I will position the first guy. Oh come on, I didn't parent the legs. Are you kidding? Yes. No. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, works. He's like stepping a little bit forward with his leg. This is a little bit challenging too, because it means like he's a little bit more out of balance, so I'm not so sure I want to keep that. But I will first try to see how it looks, and then we change eventually. This leg here is very important. It's the one that's holding the whole weight, so I will make it like very planted. this to me is the one of the coolest part of the whole process, because it reminds me so much of playing with GI Joe figurines or like stop motion. And I want to have like some curves. I think like curves are very good for design. I'm changing the color here for some yellow, just to talk about what I'm after. I want to have like this read across the model, so I will emphasize even more like this. So I wanted to have him like very out of like body bending to one side and then the head completely opposite. And I want him to look a little bit up, because he's gonna like on the concept, like he's looking pretty much like to the necklace of his brother. He's gonna be right on top of his head. I think like if we manage to get the pose done before I have to go, it will be a good stopping point for today, and tomorrow we can continue. Look, I didn't mention, but I know like the body proportion. This is very skinny. It's the body from the old brother, the skinny brother. This one has to be more massive, like this, to go to apply to the look that we went for with the head. But this is the thing that I'm gonna adjust when I actually sculpt. So I will just clean it up for now. Just keep in mind that it's still a work in progress. It's always a work in progress, right? I mean, it's only done when you say like, okay, for the amount of time allocated that you can have, it is good enough. And always remember that, right? It's in relation to the amount of time that you have. I mean, you could be spending hours on this, days, even I mean months if you want to. But then it's the point that it's like you have to ask yourself, it's is it good enough, or can I move forward? Right. It's and I would get bored with the model after some time. Alright, so I'll say that more or less his pose it's okayish. I will put his brother because the position on one brother to the other, this is one of the challenging of these multi figurines, is because the position of one influence the look of the other. I want him to be curved forward, like, oh man, I'm totally falling. Ah. Intersection is not intersecting models is not a problem, because when I join, actually they will merge into each other, and actually this is good for when you are you don't want to have gaps on your models. They are a pain to support and to clean, and you can have failed prints because of that. So having like it's better to have like one model inside the other, because then when you like remesh it, they will merge into one single piece. But yeah, you guys gonna see that process. And this piece, it's gonna be too big, so probably I will make like him as a multi-piece thing. So probably I would separate like the head of the middle brother with the body of the second one, and so like the base and the headless is gonna be one model. The head, well, I'll see when the model is done, but yeah, this is my thinking for now. I'm probably gonna want to split it into multi-part, so it's easier to print, to support on the print pad, and also you can print bigger. I mean, unless you have a big printer, but they are right now too expensive for me, for my family man reality, so I cannot afford that yet. So yeah, I have Photon. It's an amazing printer. It's really good, but I have the maximum amount of size that I can actually print, and to have like enough detail, I would want to split this. Again, on the concept, they are very out of balance. Like they're about to fall. It looks like it's like which I think it's funny. It's because like looks like the small one, the more active one. It's like super careless. It's like, who cares? I just want to look to the far away and to the future. And it's like the older brother is completely like, oh no, I am falling. Help me! Don't do this. I think it's really funny to think like give voice to your characters. Like, hey dude, what are you doing? Don't do that. Yeah, we have totally gonna have like to change some of the expressions to be more like the concept art. Right now they are completely like expressionless. That's gonna be fun, uh, fun part. And again, I want to keep the weight distribution more or less on the center. So the last key that has to be around here, right? Can't be too much to the side. And still, I think like the hip on this one has to be uh, much wider. So I can't simply scale. Just gonna move his legs to the side. So I have like a reference of how wide his hips has to be to in order to accommodate for the um, uh, just scaling in X, so I have a more volumetric view of the. I mean, one thing that you have to think is like if you scale, it will translate the. You see, like if you scale a parent, the kids get the scale too. So yeah, that's like it's better to do if you go in edit mode and then you scale in edit mode, because then it's only affecting the parent and not the kid, and that is more what you want to get. Because I want to have I could break the parent into order to scale it, but right now, since I'm actually posing them, having the relationship is actually very handy. Okay, so I'll put like the kid number 3, and after I have the kid number 3, I can fine tune the pose. I always try to start from the hips, because it's the root of my character. It's pretty much. And the cool thing, this one has his legs completely up. It's like the older brother is almost like throwing him up. And he's still like this. Problems that I see right now, right? The model is too much back weight heavy, so I will move it this two more forward like this, and I will like rotate this one more forward, as like poor boy, he's carrying the weight of the world in his back. I mean, if his brothers are his word, he's pretty much is. Wow, so deep. And I want to have like one head leading the eye into the next character. And I mean, I can break that's why I made like with shapes like with sphere like this, because I can pull off more if I need more volume. I like the way it's going. I like this composition for the legs and the way it is. And I imagine like with the body is more like this, and then the book, the magic book, it's gonna be cool like here. So I think it's gonna be a nice read overall. I want to have like these kids still way more there. I want to keep like the head on his brother here, like the no, remove what I said. I want to have like he's doing like this, like looking to the horizon like that, but I want to have him holding his magic staff with the other hand like this, and this brother here is just trying to balance him off. It's like, hey, don't do this. And the necklace, the magic necklace, something around here. I think this is gonna be that's more or less what I'm gonna try to achieve. So let's keep positioning the. This is the cool thing. Like I said, the change that you do to one affect the others. It's like there's this episode of Dungeons and Dragons where the dungeon master says that, oh, I have someone at the door. I'll be right back. Sorry, where I was. Yeah, there's this episode of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon where they have these unicorns, and they say it's like the fate of one is shared among the others or something like this. I only remember in Portuguese. And this is more or less that, like, the changes you do to one affect the whole group, right? But it is actually really cool to do that. I haven't done like a multi-piece miniature like this before, so it's really really exciting to me. I will. I always try to think a little bit of how I mean, I have a little bit of a strategy in my mind on how I want to make it printable, but I'm not super concerned right now because I can. This is the things that I will change when the sculpt is more advanced. Just have like to keep in mind that yeah, things gonna probably change a lot. I'll try to keep the head of the brothers closer to each other. I'm not closer, but I mean aligning each other because that's more or less where the weight of the thing is. Yeah, I think like this, it's okay. It's gonna need a very strong base here for holding this whole piece. So yeah, the it's better be a very strong leg, my friend. You carrying everybody there. I will increase his instance, his legs a little bit. I might be blocking too much of the body of the other kid, so I'll change his position a tiny little bit. I think like early feedback it's important. So the way I would do is I would model a little bit more. Of course, I wouldn't go and show like this, but as soon as I have more or less the composition and I want to go for the miniature, I will detail a tiny little bit more, especially the body proportions of that they are a little bit off. Like especially the kid number two has to be more rounded as I mentioned before. But when I have that more close to the what I would imagine it be, I will make screenshots and send to my client to get his feedback. The sooner I have his feedback, then and I know that I'm on a good track, then I can define better the volume, because I mean there isn't a lot of the sculpting that's gonna be done for this pose itself, especially the wrinkles of the clothes and the curves and the readability. That if you later decide like, okay, this is not the pose that I want for these characters, it would be very hard to change and a lot of work, and yeah, I would lose too much time. And being a freelance work, your time it's important for you to manage, because it is really fun to do this, but there is more stuff to be done, right? I mean, there is other models that you can work on, and so you have to balance this. So it is important to get feedback often and soon, before you polish too much and detail too much. I detail a lot the heads. I still gonna do like a later pass on, but it's to me it's important, because I mean for this client, not in specific, but I had clients that couldn't imagine how it's gonna be after you polish more the character, and for those it is important that especially the major points are more detailed than I would do for my boss. For example, for my boss, I wouldn't have done so much detail on the head before getting his feedback. But for a client, I mean, the client expect sort of that I am doing art direction, right? That's why he's hiring me. He's hiring me also for my taste. So I try to approach it a more advanced look. That is the kind of thing that it's different from my day to day to my Fiverr work. This is the kind of thing that I like to think. I mean, it might not even be the best way, but I think like when I'm supporting this on the printer, the if you have like a point below and then everything grows up, it's easier. You just have to add one supporter here and you let the whole resin support itself. If you had like all of the fingers pointing down, you would have like to add a support for each point of the finger. So this is it's good to keep in the bottom of your head. I mean, it shouldn't dictate your design, but if you can like help on the design to be easier to print, by all means, go for it. very Spider-Man, his back arm like that. Oh, time is almost done. I have to speed it up. I want to increase this curvature of the back. Like, he's really putting some. He's really holding the weight on that. Like, this is cool because now you don't know if he's looking at kid number 2 or kid number 1, right? To kid number 3 or kid number to the older brother or to the younger brother. He's like ambiguous, looking up. I will just like position like the wider because he's the bigger one. I like the fingers are open. I think it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna be harder to support. It's gonna be more fragile and easier to break. But on the other hand, I like that it changes a tiny little bit the silhouette, and it makes like the character more out of balance. That the pose that they are about to fall. Right, this is like this instant in time right before the disaster happened. Maybe the younger kid just saw something. Maybe he saw like a bunny or something, and he kind of make a brusque movement, sudden movement, and now the whole pyramid of brothers are about to collapse. This is in my head, right? That's the what is going on when I'm thinking on the pose. Okay, almost 9:40. 10 more minutes, and then I have to call it done for today. I will put the feet in the floor as like he's doing a big stride, and the importance to put the feet in the floor is because it will help support the weight. I'm thinking like the more of the bigger is the base of my pyramid here, the better it will be to hold the whole pyramid up. I think it would fall to this direction right now. It's too heavy on this side compared to this. But yeah, this is gonna be challenging to fix. I'll try like selecting all the pelvis at once and rotating them all together like that. Yeah, this works a little bit. Yeah, I think like this looks okay. I'll just add here like a cylinder. Not a circle. I want to just add a cylinder. Just so I have like a reference for the staff. I mean his staff, it's on the concept. It's almost like a wand. It's not a real staff. So it's I made it too big. I'm gonna make it like shorter. It's more like this, and with the little design in the little jewelry on the point. Yeah, I mean I'm gonna model it a little bit more cool later on with the texture of the wood and maybe some wrapping leather around or something like this. I'm still gonna think of the design for it, and also for the necklace of this brother. It's gonna be really cool. I'm thinking something very Art Nouveau for the jewelry. I think Art Nouveau is very magical, mystical. Yeah, I think it helps for this especially for the Gaia Seed Project, because it's very organic and tech at the same time, but it's pretty cool. So I think like Art Nouveau fits like as a glove for it. And yeah, this is when I get to that point of the design, I will probably add more reference to my sheet and design on the paper, on the 3D. Okay, I think it's good enough for now. I will stop it pretty soon. Just gonna do some quick notes here before I stop the stream. I think it was a good progress. I will save my work. Always remember to save, right? You don't want to crash and burn. It happens. Okay. So just always rotate your models around to see if I mean it's a 3D piece, right? So it has to look okayish from all angles. So it will have like the body a little bit more like this with the cloth, the book somewhere there, and then the boots. Going on. I probably gonna put the necklace together with the leg, so it merges together, and it's easier to print, because you don't want to have something floating, because that would be very hard to support. So if it's merged together with the leg, for the resin, you're just gonna go together and smooth. And I might have like to make a very thick chain, so it's again easier to print. This is sometimes I do for a client. I just like draw like with my annotation tools. I sketch on top of like the basic model, because this is much faster than actually Sculpt, right? It's like you already have like the things more or less in position. You just like accenting where the detail is gonna go. So like this, I at least I believe it's easier for the client to understand what you're trying to do, and he's gonna say if he's okay with it or not. Uh, I think the staff could be a little bit more high instead of like there, maybe. Or maybe actually what could be cool, I will try later, is instead of like he's looking at that, he's pointing with the staff in the direction that they want to go. And then this arm, instead of like being like this, like covering his eye, I'll just move it to the back to like if he was helping on the balance with his other arm, and he's kind of like that way, follow me, like if he was the young leader of the group. I mean, I imagine he's not, but still, he's the more like maybe even he could be actually playing with his brother hair with his back arm. I think this could actually be a more interesting pose than if this because the problem is like with the arm like this, it would be very hard for a painter to paint the face in a cool way, and the shadow, the hand's gonna be covering too much of the face, and the shadow's gonna cast on the face and hide a lot of the detail that it's actually fun to sculpt, right? And as I mentioned before, you want people to look at the head, so it's not so. I mean, it looks good on a 2D image work like this, but I think for a 3D figurine, it would be better if he was just like really looking forward and pointing with the staff. I think that could be a better pose. I will try that tomorrow. For now, I'm gonna stop. I hope you guys like this video, and tomorrow we continue. So, thank you for watching, and